Nick, very simple question for you. In or out, Brian Daboll? You want him back? You're in on Dart and Daboll. What are we doing? In or out?
Good to be on with you, buddy. If you had asked me at the end of the season, do I want to be in on Brian Daboll? The answer would have been absolutely not for Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen. I don't think that you should get rewarded. And this is like I do a lot of media locally in New York where I live. And I would get into arguments with people like on WFAN in New York, on shows I would go on. And everyone would say, it's like, well, like you have to be patient and that, Daniel Jones and they were saddled with a bad quarterback. And my response was always, guys, we can curse on your show, right? I can curse on the show.
Of course.
It was like, guys, it's motherfucking year 3. Like, this is not year 1. It's not year 2. It's year 3 of this regime, and you're the worst fucking team in the league. And you think you think they should be rewarded by being brought back? Honestly, think about it. And it's done. They're back. It's like it's happened. It's like it's over. So now it's what do we think is going to happen moving forward? But when I brought them back, absolutely not. Year 3, worst team in the league. Who the fuck gets brought back? How does that happen? And it was, you fired Joe Judge early and you fired Pat Shermer early. So now you have to give these guys. Why? Those were the right decisions.
Those were the right decisions.
And by the way, this would have been the right decision too. It's they were stuck with Daniel Jones. But what do fucking people think that the coach and the GM have no say in anything that happens? The owner is a train wreck, obviously, but the idea that Daboll and Schoen get a pass because Daniel Jones was the quarterback, I don't buy. Also, if you're that fucking good, Daboll, you're the quarterback whisperer, make it happen with the guy. Come on, it's pathetic. But I will say
there's a whole other organization who's now selling themselves on Daniel Jones. There's a whole other.
Well, I hope not.
I think Shane Steichen certainly thinks there's a chance Daniel Jones saves his job.
I have to tell you something, man. If Daniel Jones is starting for the Colts in week 1 this year, Anthony Richardson should retire.
Yes. Oh, so I completely
Anthony Richardson needs to say this ain't for me and go find something else.
Go do something. Not even UFL, buddy. You gotta go. You gotta go do something else. And okay. So I was doing. I was thinking about, okay, I'm gonna have Nick on the show. We're gonna talk about the Giants. We're gonna talk about Dart. I actually have not heard this angle really discussed. Maybe this is more of a New York thing, but is there a little bit of, Eli, Ole Miss, Dart, Ole Miss? Yeah. So I just, in my head.
Well, people are fucking stupid. It's like Knicks fans that are let's bring Van Gundy back.
Let's bring Jay Wright in. Let's bring Jay Wright in.
Jay Wright, you could at least sell yourself on a little bit. The problem with Tibbs was the offense is stuck in the Mesozoic era. The fucking pterodactyls flying, and you want to bring Jeff Van Gundy in? Come on, what are we talking about here? But yeah, there is the Ole Miss thing, and as a Giants fan, doesn't hurt, doesn't mean anything, but it doesn't hurt, to be fair.
Well, it's so funny that the Giants have been this very contentious team for the entire time that I have been doing sports stuff as one, New York, huge media market. We talk about the Knicks all the time, even when they're terrible. We talk about the Giants all the time, even when they're terrible. But the back-to-back of Gettleman being the worst GM, you've got, the 2 Super Bowls, the 2 Super Bowls that Eli won loom so large in the public consciousness because it was the breaking of the Brady, Manning, AFC supremacy, or that's a big part of it. I gotta say, I weirdly think the Giants have kind of put themselves in the spot where the Bears were last year. I think Dart is going to work. I think he's pretty good. I think he should not, the Steelers, I think, are the biggest idiots in all of this for just being well, let's just take him. This thing we're doing is not working. But I do wonder if it's Daboll is a lame duck. His offensive coordinator's a lame duck. They're all getting fired. The GM's probably getting fired. Shane's probably getting fired too. So you take this. Do you think it's possible that Daboll gets fired and Schoen stays?
Well, here's what I would say. I think that the Giants, I actually think that they threaded the needle of doing what was best for them to save their jobs, while also doing the best thing for the organization. So I actually think they nailed it. Now, I don't think they should have been put in position to nail it. I would have fired them. I'm on record saying that. But I think they did as well as they could have. Now, compare and contrast, like that jabroni Ryan Pace, like trying to save his job and trading a
Right.
first-round pick like for Justin Fields was probably not going to work. And then he's not around the next year, so what does he care? I actually think like what the Giants did was really smart. Now, I'm not going to go out on a limb. Like I'm not that guy. I don't watch film. Like I watch college football, like kind of like casually a little bit. I think I've said
Right.
this on your show. I say it on my show. Like I'm married with a kid now.
Yeah.
I work 6.5 days a week. I can't tell my wife, hey, I'm sitting on the couch for 12 hours on a college football Saturday. Like I can't do it. Like it's a life thing for me. So I'm never going to come on and say like, this guy's going to be good. This guy's not going to be good. But I will say that I like the idea of Jackson Dart. He's got a big arm. He's a good athlete. Like you think that Daboll will be able to use him in the run game. So I like the idea of Dart and that he could be good. And if Daboll's like worth his salt at all as a quarterback guy, that he should be able to make something of Dart. So I liked that in conjunction with Abdul Carter, now with Burns and Thibodeau and Sexy Dexy on the defensive line. So I think there are a couple like avenues for Daboll and Schoen to stay. And we can really focus it down to two. Number one is they win enough, right?
Yeah,
Let's
9
say they
games.
go
9 games,
10 games, like make the playoffs or be right on the cusp of the playoffs and the fan base feels good. The other way that I think they stay, and this will be where they probably do what's not best for the organization and do what's best to save their jobs. Because you have to put yourself, there's a human element here, right? You have to put yourselves in like the minds of these people. And if you're Daboll and Schoen, you know, like Daboll's probably never getting another head coaching job if this year goes poorly. And Schoen's probably not going to be a GM again.
I don't know, man.
Poorly.
Guys hang around in the NFL. Like Joe Schoen, you're probably right, because I think they're just
who's hiring Daboll
now
after this? It'd be 3 bad years in a row.
You could just never count a coach out. Coaches you think will never, never gonna like Freddie Kitchens. Remember Freddie Kitchens?
Oh, I remember. Honestly, maybe worse than Hugh Jackson.
Freddie Kitchens is still employed.
Yeah, but he's not a head coach. Teams. Of course. Like, I'm not saying Daboll's never going to get a job again. He's not going to be he'll be an offensive coordinator. He could go coach a college team. He'll get a good job. He's never going to be a head coach again, though. That's what I'm saying. Like,
you know what? Cliff is going to end up being a head coach again. Cliff was an abject disaster in Arizona. He's calling these plays with Jane Daniels. It's all Daboll needs.
You know what? I will concede this point to you. I think you made it really, because Daboll could go be an OC and like make another quarterback really good and you are right. I actually will concede the point to you.
Then right. All of a sudden he's coaching the Miami Dolphins 7 years from now, right? It's just the way it goes.
I could see it happening. I think you're right about that. But I think the other way that they stay is you go for as long as possible with Russ and Jameis for as long as you can, and then play Dart at the end of the year. And Dart's good. And Dart likes you, right? Because that's so the reporting was that like Dart was kind of Daboll's guy. Now I'll tell you that's pretty dangerous if you're both Dart and you're Daboll, because it's dangerous if you're Daboll and you kind of. Well, it's not dangerous if you're Dart. It's dangerous if you're Daboll for sure.
Well, it's dangerous a little bit because if they end up having the 4th pick in next year's draft and you were Daboll's guy and Daboll gets fired, there's nothing protecting you from going the way of Nick Mullins or whatever, of just like, well,
yeah, but like Nick Mullins was not like a first round pick,
first round
capital, you know,
the way of Kenny Pickett.
Well, I have a pretty strong opinion on the Pickett stuff. I think Pickett's kind of like an isolated situation. That's my opinion.
I mean, he was the only first round quarterback. He went to college in Pittsburgh. Like it was weird. The Pickett stuff.
Well, here's my Pickett thing. I think he's a loser. And it doesn't mean.
Why do you think Kenny Pickett is a loser?
Well, how about this? I think he could be like a really good person and like a good, I don't know if he's married, but like a good husband or boyfriend or dad or brother or son or friend, whatever. I didn't like when the Steelers play Mason Rudolph at the end of the season, right? And Pickett is taking shots at the Steelers. And to be fair, like, we don't know the full story, right? Because he said last week, you know, when talking at Browns OTAs, that last year with Philly, he got to see how like a real organization does things, right? Which obviously is a shot at the Steelers. And maybe there's something to that. But here's what I know, right? And I am going to compare myself to an NFL franchise quarterback here, which is not to say I'm an athlete, but look, like, it's like the will and the desire to win. Where if it's me and I'm Kenny Pickett and they play Mason Rudolph over me, and then they sign Russell Wilson in the offseason, if it's me, if it's Nick Kostos, and like Odyssey does that, and they bring someone in to like replace me, and I'm under contract, I am going to get up every day, and my singular focus is going to be being so fucking good at my job that it's going to make that person, in this instance, Russell Wilson, kind of have to face himself and say, why am I even here?
Yeah.
And give the Steelers no choice but to admit that they were wrong and play me. And instead, he took his ball and went home and said, I'm going to go be a backup quarterback for my hometown team. Like, to me, that's like a guy that doesn't want it bad enough.
Which I mean, I think is like pretty reasonable. He definitely, that is like literally exactly what he did.
No, I'm a millennial though. Like, I'm like Gen Z may feel differently because like everyone's a bunch of fucking pansies these days. So like, I don't know.
Well, so it's very funny you say that because I remember, because I'm old too. I'm a millennial also. Like that is what people said about.
You're Gen Z, dude. You're 32. You're Gen Z, right?
I'm 32. I am not Gen Z, man.
Okay.
The big pants. Not for me. Skipped me. That's what people said about us, right? That we were the snowflakes, that we were too soft. It's just every generation is never going to understand.
That's a fair point.
The generation after them. I'll say this. I think there's a chance it works, mostly because if you put Dart in like a pretty good situation, as we saw, Lane Kiffin put him in just like continuous.
Dude, and the defense could be like really good. Could be really good. Like so the problem is I think the division's a fucking monster, right? Like the Eagles are going to roll out of bed and win double-digit games. Maybe they don't go 14-3. They're going to be good. I mean, like I feel like people are going to spend the next couple months like poking holes in the Commanders because like it's like fun content. I don't know, man. Just like Daniels is already the best quarterback in the conference. Like, how are they not going to be good if he's healthy the whole season? Like, how is that not happening? And then I maybe the Giants are going to be better than the Cowboys, but I'm not 100%. I love the George Pickens move. Like what's the Giant? I think the Giants have a chance to be good, but like, what's the ceiling though? Like, that's my issue with the Giants this year. 8-9.
Well, yeah,
9-8?
there's no ceiling unless Jackson Dart's really good. I mean, it's like that's.
But then he has to play the whole year because like, well, we're gonna waste fucking time with Russell Wilson and James.
You know what? If it depends on what your perspective is on the Giants, but I'll tell you, if your perspective is a Dart centric one, you basically got the dream rollout because they're gonna start like 0-5. They go at Commanders, at Cowboys, home to the Chiefs, home to the Chargers, then. I tell you, I mean, it rolls out pretty nicely because in week 5 they get to play at the Saints.
So which is like the only game they're going to be potentially favored in for like a really long time.
So then you go, dude, we're 1-3, we're 0-4. We just got beat 38-0 at home by the Chargers. It's your time. It's your time, Dart.
I'll tell you what. Giants are covering in week 1 against Washington, and I think they could win the game.
Beautiful. I love it. Okay, let's talk.
And I'm not a homer. You know, I'm not a homer saying that.
Correct. Yes, you were on the fire Gettleman, fire Joe Judge stuff earlier. Let's talk about another New York coach who got fired. Tom Thibodeau fired by the New York Knickerbockers. It is the first time they have made the conference finals in 25 years.
Yep, 2000.
Yeah,
also
long time.
Good time.
Now, my favorite Knicks team of all time in my lifetime of watching basketball was the 7 seconds or less version of the Knicks, the Steve Novak, Carmelo Anthony, J.R. Smith. Oh, I loved those Knicks, man. They weren't good, but they were really fun. They were an enjoyable watch. This version of the Knicks, you got Karl Anthony Towns. You have like a bunch of duplicative wings who like honestly just all played bad, right? Anunoby, Bridges, and Hart saved their worst basketball for the conference finals, so that was interesting.
Hart was brutal. The other two, I would say, were inconsistent.
Bridges was 2 for 11 from 3 for the series.
Bridges was not great. Bridges was not great in the Eastern Conference Final. Anunoby had some good games, but yeah, like your point is reasonable on them. Yeah.
So I guess it's really I suppose the question is, I don't hate the idea of firing Thibodeau, right? It's like this actually happens. Love, I think, is a bit much.
Oh,
right?
No, I love it.
Okay. So I would say in pro Tibbs, right? Sure, they're running the pterodactyl offense, right? But Tibbs just always gets defensively more out of his team.
Did he?
Then
They
he
got
should.
fucking shredded by the Pacers.
Well, okay.
Dude, they have 3 like all defense caliber players and Anunoby, Bridges, and Mitchell Robinson. They got
but then you have literally
sliced and diced.
But you have so it's like this is like kind of the new era of the NBA weak link basketball because you literally have probably the worst point guard defender who starts in the NBA, and then you have a center who doesn't play defense at all, who just like does not protect the rim. That's hard to construct a good defense out of.
Okay. Okay, so let's say all of that's true. All right.
Okay.
I like Cat.
I do too.
I may be like the last New Yorker that likes Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, everyone else has sent him to the British Basketball League in New York, I think.
He's a top 20 player in the league, like easily a top 20 player in the league. And I just want to like fucking get rid of this guy.
If you exclude Durant, he's the best shooter over 7 feet tall of all time. He's not even close.
And maybe Wembanyama will be better at some point, but
sure,
like Towns, for now, it's definitely Towns. You're right. Maybe the solution is so. I'm going to work myself through this here. The good news for the Knicks is the Eastern Conference is fucking brutal. And just quickly go through it. So Cleveland won 64 games in the regular season. Another pathetic embarrassment.
Just embarrassing playoff effort. Embarrassing.
And look, they're gonna roll it back out there again, and they'll win like 56 to 64 games again. And who's gonna like them in the playoffs? Nobody. And you shouldn't. The Celtics are not going to have Tatum next year, and they're going to make moves because the owners don't want to pay like the billion. Like
they have their own pick. They're going to tank.
But they might. Well, the point is that they're not a title contender, right?
Correct.
Regardless of how this is going to work out. Milwaukee can't win with Giannis, and they're probably going to move Giannis, and we'll see where he goes. Like Orlando, I like, but unless they get like Durant or Giannis, you're never picking them. Detroit's really interesting, but they're a year away from being like a legit Eastern Conference contender. And then you have the Pacers and the Knicks. I said after the Knicks lost, like the Knicks can go to the finals next year.
Easily. Yeah, there's no reason.
And they don't have to do anything. They could bring the same team back with Tibbs and they can win the East next year. The problem is that you're like, I think that every single team, like the 29 other teams in the league are going to have to wake up in 2 weeks. And the singular focus is going to be, if you're trying to win a championship, so not every team's trying to win, how do we beat Oklahoma City? Can we beat the Thunder? Like that has to be the question that everybody asks. If the Knicks had made the finals this year, they wouldn't have won a game.
No, they would have gotten swept. And I think the Pacers, this is coming out next Wednesday from when you and I are recording this. So it might already be 2-0. Like it might already be decided.
Yeah, like, dude, like I'm just like they would have had the little league mercy rule, like Thunder Knicks. The Knicks would have lost every game by double digits. It would have been
Karl Anthony Towns would be like crying. It'd be and Brunson, sure, you can get away with that stuff. It's not happening against Case and Wallace.
Brunson got mind fucked by Andrew Nembhard. Like now here's Dort and Alex Caruso.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on. So the Knicks can win the East next year, just like can they win the title? And maybe the answer is you have to move Towns. And like maybe that's what it is. The reason why I liked firing Tibbs, and while acknowledging this is not like I hated Joe Judge. Like I wanted to throw a fucking party when Joe Judge got fired. Like Tibbs is not a loser. He's a really good coach. And he did like transform the Knicks along with Brunson. And honestly, I don't think Julius Randle gets enough credit for this, but that's a story for another time. So like I'm not like mad at Tibbs. Like I'm thankful. Like I'm grateful that Tibbs did such a good job as the coach of the Knicks. But the offense was stuck in iso ball. And for as good as Brunson is, he's not MJ. He's not Kobe.
Right.
He's not Luka. He's not Giannis. He's not Jokic. He's not one of those. He isn't. And you could still win with him, but he's not one of those guys.
Well, that's just a structural problem in the NBA in general when your best player is your smallest player. If you just look historically at the NBA, it's uncommon.
But here's what I would say, and maybe I'm wrong about this, and I'm not saying I'm going to be. I think I'm right. They're fucking stacked. Like the bench has to get better. So like they're not especially deep. But dude, Bridges is awesome. And the fact that he was relegated to like bystander this year while Brunson and I'm not saying he's better than Brunson. Like Brunson's better. But Bridges is way better than what he showed. And Anunoby's better than what he showed. And there's no reason that Towns should be this bad on defense when he has 3 like all defense caliber players around him. And Tibbs doesn't play the fucking bench. And like come playoff time, like because it's like what came first, the chicken or the egg? You can make the argument, well, he doesn't play the bench because they sucked. I would counter that by saying, how do you know they suck? We never see them. They never play. They never fucking play. Like, let Tibbs, I say this respectfully. It's going to sound disrespectful. I mean it respectfully. Let him go coach the Hornets and take them to like the 9 seed next year and elevate some bad teams.
Yeah, he does.
Like
well,
the
that's
Knicks,
the thing.
The Knicks are ready now to take the next step and win a title.
He doesn't develop young players, right? I mean, that is like he basically never has, right? So maybe Tyler Kolek was ready to be this awesome like backup point guard.
I still think I think he can get there.
And that'll probably and I mean they're gonna let like Precious Achua and some of these guys go because of like second apron. By the way, this is kind of neither here nor there. Second apron, NFL or NBA owners thought they wanted this. This is the largest fumble of all time because what is the NBA's like main click business? What do people love about? They love trades, they love free agents, they love all this stuff. Nothing is more limiting to player movement and trades and fun stuff happening than the second apron. The NBA owners thought they wanted it. They do not.
I'm going to be curious how it plays out. I'm not sure I totally agree with you on that point, but yeah, we can maybe do that another time.
Yeah, I'll just say this. It's going to happen to the Thunder because the Thunder are not going to. The Thunder, they'll be able to keep Chet and J-Dub and Shea, but like,
will they? Are they going to be able to keep all 3 of them?
They will, but like Cason Wallace, gone. Cason Wallace is going to go make $18 million a year from whoever, the Magic or whatever.
My bold prediction is the Thunder won't be able to keep all 3 of them forever.
Well, they also might decide they would rather have Giannis on their team. They might decide, look, J-Dub, we love you.
Dude, they'd be if they win the title this year, they would be fucking crazy to do that.
I don't think
they lose in the finals,
yeah.
And like J-Dub plays like he did against the Mavericks last year. You could talk yourself into
or like he did against the Nuggets. I mean, J-Dub was like the worst player. They benched J-Dub against the Nuggets.
I think J-Dub's going to play well.
Well, I mean, God, the Pacers, man, it's crazy. The Pacers made. I mean, you know the crazy thing about all of this is that if that Halliburton shot just doesn't drop, in the Knicks probably win the series.
No, they don't.
If that Halliburton
I don't think so. I actually don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, that puts you in a mentally healthy place. All right. Last thing for us here. I've been
great.
really
Okay. So play it out. So then it's Game 7 at home. Who wins Game 7 at the Garden on Monday night? I think Indiana wins.
God, Game 7 at home is just a huge advantage, dude. It's a huge playing that game at home is so big.
The Knicks are mentally fragile.
they're pretty That's where Tibbs comes in, by the way, though.
Does
Tibbs
he?
is not. I think he does. Yeah.
He was the coach of the team and the team was mentally fragile. You don't want to like bang him for that?
Well, imagine what that team would have been like with Scotty Brooks coaching them or something.
Well, like I'm not fucking pounding the table for Scotty Brooks to come coach the Knicks, but like,
thank God.
But like, I mean, come on, man. Like, I'm just like I'm stunned that there are like Knicks fans, period, and like Knicks fans in the media, like, oh, I can't believe we fired this guy. What the fuck are you watching?
It's just, it is, I understand the impetus to be like, dude, we just made the conference finals in 25 years. How do you fire this guy? But it's actually a rare bit of foresight from
because they're never going to win, because they will never win the title with him as the coach.
Yeah, I don't think you will.
And this gets lost. Everyone's like, oh, well, we made the conference finals. Great. Like, the bar's higher than that. Like, the point is to win it all, is not to get to the conference finals. Let's stop being pussies, okay? Please.
I agree. Final thing. I'm searching for an answer for this. I asked Pat Mayo about this on the show last week, and his answer was pretty good, but he's the best.
He's the best.
Does anything have a higher approval rating than hockey that people don't actually watch or engage with? Have you ever met one person who's like, I don't really like watching hockey? Everyone you meet.
Well, I think this needs to be qualified.
Everyone
qualifiers. Everyone loves the hockey playoffs.
Sure. Yeah.
No one likes the hockey regular season. That's not true. There are people that do.
There are people.
God bless them.
But hockey is awesome on TV. It's even better in person. It's like a great in-person sport. Why is hockey not more like? I bet
Regular
hockey,
season sucks.
I bet hockey in America has a higher approval rate. You just start asking people on the street, what do you like better, hockey, basketball? Hockey, right?
No,
Don't you think?
no
You
way.
think hoops?
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
Not 99%, 100%.
Okay, 100%.
100%.
Maybe this is a self-selecting thing because I live in the Midwest and people here don't like basketball as much. That's valid. My question to you is, Gary Bettman comes to you. He offers you $100K McKinsey consulting fees. Like, dude, we want...
He'd have to pay me more than that, but yeah.
$2 million. We want...
Yeah, $2 million.
20...
I'll do it.
We want 2030. We want to come close to equaling the National Basketball Association and playoff game ratings. What's your plan? Your 5-year plan to increase the popularity of the National Hockey League?
I don't think it can happen. But
to regional?
Well, I think okay, so what do people like? People like the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like the regular season's too long, but the regular season in the NBA is too long also. And people love tournaments. Like, I think the answer is, and like there's logistical difficulties with this. Like, think about this. So I was actually on vacation for this. It was in February. It was, I want to say, the week after the Super Bowl. So the Super Bowl Sunday.
The Four Nations
was the biggest thing in sports. United
so
States
big.
Canada. It was awesome. Like, they should, like the regular season should be like 50 games, and halfway through the season, there should be like an international tournament. And then right into the playoffs.
There will be one of these leagues, one of these football competing leagues, right? I don't know which one it'll be, but eventually a long enough timeline in American history, I don't know if it's going to be the MLS. I don't know if it's going to be the NHL, the NBA. Someone is going to do a 20-25 game season. And they're going to try and really market it the same way the NFL. They're going to try and make it television events. They're going to really promote the fantasy sport because you can't underestimate how much fantasy football plays into how popular the NFL is. One of these leagues is eventually going to do it. They're going to make all the games feel like events, right? Well, the NFL is going the other way. It's like during December, there's just a game on every day. And I think hockey is pretty ripe for it because people just like hockey. It's fun. It's entertaining.
The regular season's way too long.
It's a grind. It's
way too long.
But you don't have the structural problems. The things people don't like about the NBA is the threes and the dunks, right? They're like, just give me something else. I want to watch. I miss the era of the 6'7" power forward. You don't have those structural elements.
But again, here's the issue though. Like with hockey, is that it's okay. So think about the issue with the NBA, and then it's worse for hockey because the NBA is more popular than the NHL. Hockey starts in like October. Great. Here's like the World Series, college football, and the NFL. And it goes into like March into the NCAA. So once football ends in February, okay, like hockey gets like, I don't know, like if there's the Four Nations. But like now we're ramping up for the NCAA tournament. And then March is owned by college basketball. And then in April, like you have the NFL's back with the NFL draft. And you really get like 6 to 8 weeks where people are really fucking into it. That's it. I actually think there's like no way that they can do it. I think it's going to be what it is forever.
Fair enough. I like it. I enjoy it, but I'm also a fair
I like
fan.
it too.
I'm coming in. Nick, tell the people You Better You Bet where they can listen to it, and we'll get you out of here.
Yeah, You Better You Bet weekdays, 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern. I do a lot more during football season. Thankfully, it's not. We are on the Odyssey app. We're on Sirius XM. On YouTube or on Twitch. You can watch the final hour on Peacock and NBC Sports Now from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern. We're on a million radio stations nationwide also. And as always, in your hearts and in your minds.
There you go. Folks, get yourself some more of that Nick Kostos fast talking. I'll be back with y'all next week.